Going away. I am married, together 9 years total, with 2 girls together and 1 child from a previous relationship. I am 33 years old. A little background info. Most of our marriage has been very unhappy, unhealthy, and filled with painful conflict, almost from the beginning. I always knew in my gut things never felt right, and I always felt in a state of such deep pain but could never put my finger on the reason. We used to fight all day long, and I was always treated like I did not matter. That my concerns about our marriage were ridiculous and that I was overreacting and too sensitive. It was brought to my attention that I was in a very emotionally and verbally abusive relationship, and once I realized this and read about it, I know why I felt so awful all the time around my husband. I brought this to his attention, asked him to read up on it and see if he recognized anything in himself, which in turn eventually led to him changing some of his ways, and some of it got better over time. Still though, I have not felt happy with him for a very long time, but I always have had the motivation to keep trying new things to try and make things better. Even when he didn't want to make the efforts, I have had a few periods of time where I have seriously considered ending our marriage because I do not think I love him anymore. And this time, 3 weeks ago, I was serious, partly because I am emotionally involved with a coworker, and have slowly been doing so for 7 months. I did not know if it was an affair that was beginning until recently and am now in too deep to just forget about it. I feel very little for my husband and have not for a very long while. I do not feel attracted to him anymore. I have not been able to say I love you and mean it in a very long time because I don't feel that way. I am here for the kids, the home we have built, financial stability, our marriage vows, and the future of our family. But I am not sure if I can stay in something for those reasons. If there is a lack of feeling on my part, I have turned my feelings off toward him, and have a wall built up to protect myself from his abusive ways that I cannot see over it. Now since I have revealed this other relationship, he is going to counseling and literally, overnight has turned into a whole new man. I mean, it is almost too much to take how sweet, doting, and supportive he is being. Now I have this going on all the while I have very strong feelings for someone else. And this OM told me last night at work he wants to leave his wife and be with me if my marriage fails. I know sounds so crazy, but my heart is pulling me in that direction for some reason, and away from my marriage, but I have not acted on anything physical or seen him outside of work as of yet. I realize emotional affairs are just as serious as a physical affair. Even more so as my emotions are all wrapped up in this. I am such a mess and am going through a serious depressive episode because of all this. We are going to counseling together and separate to see if we have any hope at saving this. But if I feel nothing for him, how can I move forward? All I can think of is the other man, and I want to see him and be around him because I enjoy his presence. I know it is wrong, but this is how I feel, and I hope I can get some sound, wise advice because I am really struggling. Please, no bashing. I already know I am breaking my marriage vows by having feelings for someone else. Now I just need to know what to do about these feelings and my current relationship situation. Comment: there is nothing to do about your feelings for the other man. There is no magic potion to make them go away. You simply must stay away from him and be strong enough to do that. You must push thoughts of him out of your mind and quickly think about something else. Have yourself one good cry and then resolve to let him go. One reason you must let him go is you have no business interfering with another marriage. If you want to break up your marriage, that is up to you. Frankly, I think you have good reason to do that if you so decide. But you must muster big girl, grown-up strength to do something and make some wise decisions for once. You did not leave your husband when he was abusing you. That would have been a wise decision, but you did not do that. You stayed for the kids, the home we have built, financial stability, our marriage vows, and the future of our family, but suddenly all those things mean nothing. You are willing to throw them under the bus for another man you do not even know outside of work. The truth is you could not muster the strength to leave and you were afraid to leave. So don't find the strength in someone else now and throw caution to the wind. You are running on emotions, and I cannot blame you because it's understandable. Your husband mistreated you and you turned away from him. You, like every woman, need to love and be loved. But it seems you have chosen the first man that showed you a kind attention. He has a wife. He probably has children. You have no right whatsoever to break up their home, to come between that man and his wife, to come between those children and their father. That is completely selfish. How would you feel if someone did that to you? What if you found out your husband abused you because he wanted to be with another woman? Not fair, is it? Go find a man of your own, someone you do not have to cause unhappiness to be with. Do not let others pay the cost for your happiness. OP responds: I am aware and realize I am in a very destructive situation and frame of mind right now. I do have to let go of the other relationship and move forward with my marriage. I have told him many times what we are doing is wrong, and that he needs to work on his marriage as I am trying to do and forget about me. The only problem is I can't avoid this other man completely as I work with him. I have a very good paying job and will not find another like it where I live, so do not want to quit. And he is always hitting on me, pursuing me, saying he likes me, wants me to meet him outside of work to talk, and flirts very heavily with me, etc. When I feel like I get my resolve to end it, it feels like he sucks me back in with his charm and I am all wrapped up in it again. He has an awful situation at home and wants to end it, and shares this with me and says nobody listens the way I do and that's why he likes me. He says he cannot wait till the next time he can see me at work and wants to be with me. Yeah, I know it crazy and must stop, but I don't know what to do. I have taken a leave from work for the month to work on my home situation and on myself, as I am very depressed right now. I hope I will find the strength to work around him and shut off my feelings when I return. I just do not see myself quitting a job I love and that pays me very well. I have no formal education other than certifications as a fitness instructor, and it is in the field of my career goals as a health fitness leader. I am so lost and confused, and I miss Tom very much, and am not sure why. It has caused me great emotional turmoil, and I want to get past it, but do not feel I am strong enough yet to repel his advances. Having this time away from him has been good, and I am feeling the feelings lessen, but am worried as soon as I am around him again it will start up. I must find a way to move past this. Whether I stay in my marriage or not, I know this is a very unhealthy thing for me to be in because it is not real, it is a fantasy and distraction from my unhappiness. My HB came very close to having a little chat with him. He knows all about this if I have not already mentioned. He knows who he is. I have asked him not to, as it might make things more messy than they already are. Our therapist is also advising me that I need to deal with it on my own though, to learn to stand up for myself and what is right. Of course, if his advances do not stop despite my actions, I will have to look at other options. I am happy to report that taking this month off of work and distancing myself from the other man, I am rekindling some positive feelings toward my HB and realizing what a screwed up place I was in getting involved in this affair, and how bad my marriage situation really was now that my HB has been treating me so differently and has been unbelievably supportive, loving and thoughtful. This was the attention I was craving and found it from someone else who was giving it to me freely at work. I also realized why I was vulnerable to this other man and the attention he was giving me. And I need to focus on repairing myself and the damage this has done to my spirit and soul. I need to learn to love myself above all. I have a staff meeting tonight and know I will see him at work, and I am very anxious about it for some reason. I used to look forward with such anticipation when I would be seeing him. Now I am kind of dreading it. Hopefully, this space has helped him in his intense attraction to me, and he has cooled off. But he did say he would be counting the days till he sees me again. Oh boy, what I have gotten myself into. Beware of emotional entanglements. They are dangerous. Update: I have been given the ultimatum by my HB. If I cannot give him 100% effort to making this work, I will lose him. But every time he touches me, or is near me, I picture the other man and it is driving me insane. I feel like I am betraying the other man and I know that is very delusional. I have taken a month leave from work to have some space to try and deal with my home situation without the distraction of the other man, by request of my HB. But it is really hard not seeing him, and I miss him. When I return to work in July, I will have to find a way to keep things business-like between us, which is going to be hard, because he is always putting the moves on me, and it pulls me back into the whirlwind again. And again, when I try to put an end to it, I am peeling away the layers of my unhappiness, and am working on myself. And he is doing the same. We are making huge progress as far as our closeness and reconnecting. There is a mutual respect and appreciation for one another that was not there before, however. I have not been attracted to my HB in a very long time, if I ever really have. When we first met, I felt the same way, but he was such a wonderful guy. He swept me off my feet with his charm. And I overlooked this. I mean, I kind of always disliked his looks, but there is a part of him that is handsome. And when he is being nice to me and treating me respectfully, I can overlook this. My question is, how many married people not are attracted to their spouses? And can you move forward as life partners if this is aspect missing? I want to add that I am a very fit, attractive woman, and get a lot of attention from men, including my HB. Because of that, he is fit, works out, but is not built or anything. Sometimes I think he is a bit funny looking. I know this sounds awful and very shallow, but I am trying to work on building a healthy physical life, which we have never had in our 9 years together, and I feel it is futile if I am not physically attracted to him. He is making major changes, and things are going very well in most other areas of our marriage. He has expressed, though, that he wants me to initiate more touch, closeness, and of course bonding. But if I do not feel it, how do I fake that? I am trying very hard to put all the bad stuff behind me and work on the here and now that we have a chance to make things right. Looks are not everything, but they are important. This is just something that is hard to admit to myself and my husband. I have told him I am not attracted to him and it hurt him, but I also hope it is something I can overcome for the sake of our marriage and children. A month later, I have been through so much this past month and have learned so much about myself, life, and marriage as a result. I hope I can help others find their way out of rock bottom as I have. I was the partner that wanted out and was 99% out and having an emotional affair at the same time. How have we got through the muddle? Can you give me an idea as to what this other man was really thinking, hitting on me and trying to meet me outside of work? He is married with one child. He always made sure to say that sleeping with me was not his intention. He just likes spending time with me because I listen and am nice to talk to. Funny. He always minimized it when I would say we are going too far by saying we are just buddies and have not done anything wrong. I am unsure what exactly to say to him. Maybe he was not trying to get together with me, or was in denial about the whole thing. Who knows? To everyone, I am going back to work this Monday. I work with him 2 late nights per week and am feeling nervous and anxious about seeing him. Any suggestions on how I should act, what I should say? I need to practice exactly what I am going to say. I decided against the no contact letter and plan to just tell him when I see him. If it becomes necessary to write a more formal letter and threaten to go to my boss, I will resort to that. My thoughts of what I will say are, I am working things out with my HB, and we need to make sure that our conduct at work is strictly professional from now on. No more talking about our personal issues or bonding. Anything else to suggest? I must keep it short and to the point so I don't get emotional or too anxious. Another thing I have to make sure of is that we don't end up in the break room together. This is where we had many chats when we were the only ones in there. When it was slow and we were done our work, we would sit and have intense conversations at my desk or around the building. He really liked these chats and always insisted I sit with him because he liked talking to me and looked forward to us all week. This was one aspect that I started to look forward to as well and what got me in over my head. So I must be firm and say no now. How am I going to have no contact when we work quite closely together 12 hours a week? That is the question. My HB is not happy about my working with him obviously, but he also sees we need my income to pay the bills. To clarify my reluctance for quitting my job, I get paid very well working for the city where I live. So it is more than just wage job, and hard to come by. But all of this means nothing I guess if my marriage falls apart because I cannot get over the other man. Then again, if our marriage falls apart, I am going to desperately need this income to support my kids. I am screwed either way, I guess. As for not returning on Monday to work, my supervisor is away and he is the only one I would feel comfortable talking to about this whole thing, and if I decide to resign, he is going to have to get all my shifts covered. I do not want to just leave them all stuck without someone to work my shifts. I can see that it is not the best plan to continue working with the other man, although a part of me thinks I can do it. I am going to have to stick it out for a bit until I can find another job and give notice at work. If I am strong in my mind and know I want to work it out with my HB, I should be able to stay away emotionally. But will that be best for my mental health? Probably not. So, I returned to work last night and saw the other man for the first time in 6 weeks. I considered having my HB email him to stay away from me. He was more than willing to do that, but decided I will handle this myself. As I am the one who got myself into this situation, we agreed I would call him throughout the night and check in, because he said he was going to worry about me all night while I am at work. So I called 4 times to say hi. I am okay. On the drive to work, I felt my anxiety increasing. By the time I was walking into the building, I was dizzy, nauseated, and my heart was racing like I just ran a marathon. I just kept taking deep breaths and telling myself I can do this. I did not really have a plan what I was going to say to him. I thought I would just wing it but make it clear what we have been doing is very wrong and it has to stop. So, we did have a sit-down conversation at one point. I know not smart, but he asked me to sit and chat with him and he promised no inappropriate talk, so I agreed. Our talk was clean and just about catching up on each other. He asked me lots of questions about what I did when I was away, how things are going, etc. He said he understood that we got a little carried away and will respect that I am working on my marriage and will not cross any lines. He said he still wants to be friends at work, and I agreed as long as he respected my boundaries. I told him my HB is aware of everything that has happened between us, and we are trying to rebuild our marriage, and I told him that I cannot risk losing my family and need to focus on my marriage, and that what we were engaging in is over and has to stop. He understood and said he thought of texting me just to see how I was as he was concerned, but he didn't. I told him that is a good thing and thanked him for respecting my wishes. Is talking this way crossing any lines? It felt okay, just friendly, no innuendos or physical talk at all. I must admit though there is something still there. I know he is a good person just as I am. Is there a reason why we cannot be friendly at work and not cross any lines? Seeing him was like seeing an old friend again, and it did feel good but in a different way. I feel I am able to detach myself from the intensity of what it was because I know better. I am not in the fog like I was, and have learned much about affairs in the time I took off as well as myself and my marriage. I am not about to get into it again like I was, but I am finding I am obsessing about him again today, going over our conversation in my head and the things he said. I feel I have enough of a handle on this to not let it go too far again. Am I kidding myself? Something has changed in me though, even though some of the feeling is there for the other man. It does not have the allure to it anymore because I know I could not be with a married man even if my HB and I don't work out. And even if the other man did in fact leave his wife down the road, I know he is not someone who I would get into a full-blown relationship with. He is 15 years older than I am for one thing and is not completely my type anyways. What attracted me to him was that he wanted me by laying the compliments on thick. Made it clear he found me attractive and was very persistent in trying to persuade me. And eventually I found myself entangled in it before I knew what hit me. Now I know the reasons why I was vulnerable to his attention at the time, and am sure I will not go there again. I know this is bad for all concerned, and I will make sure that our talks do not continue. In the next 2 weeks the contracts are up for renewal at my workplace, so I am going to request to work opposite of him, if possible. Come September, I must admit, the thought of not ever talking to him again makes me sad, like something is missing, but as I said, I am clear that I won't get in too deep again. In fact, I encouraged him to put the energy he has put out in trying to get me into repairing his marriage. I really would like to see him do that, because I have grown to care about him, as he has of me. I could tell that in the conversation we had last night. Update: my HB had a breakdown yesterday when we started talking about the emotional affair. It hit him that he may never be able to trust me again, that he is questioning that I am the woman he thought I was. He is in disbelief that I have feelings for another man. This all came about because he asked how it was working with him the other night, and I admitted there was still a connection there, although not as intense, but I am working to get over it. We ended up having a drawn-out 4.5-hour heated fight, discussion into the night. He cried. He told me he is done trying because I cannot give anything back, and that he wants a divorce because he can't carry on like this anymore. We talked about it, thought about it. I even felt a bit of relief and started really considering leaving. I brought it to his attention that I am trying, and listed the ways I am giving to him what I can right now under the circumstances. And he admitted he may be being selfish. It has only been 2 months of him really trying to repair the damage done to our marriage on his part. I told him it is unrealistic to expect 8 years of damage to heal in 2 months. I agreed I would stay put and really try to move forward if we set a timeline, go to our marriage counselor monthly, and give it a 6-month period, and decided we will try everything to save this, but if in 6 months we feel little or no progress has been made, we can move on knowing we tried for 6 months beyond feeling it was over instead of giving up. So that is the conclusion we have come to. I also shared with him the conversation I had with the other man at work, and he made me see that even though we were just talking, I am continuing the relationship by befriending him, and I need to be more disconnected from him. He was not mad about it, just said, I am sorry for you that you weren't able to put up the boundary and stick to it, and you need to learn to do that for yourself. And he was very right. I need to stop being nice and listening to the other man tell me of his marriage troubles, acting as a counselor trying to help him. That is how we got into this mess. So, it is fair to say I am still in it and am determined to get out of it because I know better. I just wanted to say that I have decided to stick it out at work, despite strong advice against that, because I do not want to give up my job. I am not even sure I want to stay in my marriage because it feels done on my end. I am at a loss. This is not to be near the other man. I feel differently about that now. I do not want that in my life anymore. We are giving it 6 months and will decide from there. I am so heartbroken over all of this, and do not want to think of breaking up my kid's family, but I also can't stay in a marriage that no longer feels right. It is not fair to my HB either. He is giving 100% to trying to make this work, and my heart just is not in it. I feel way too much has happened. My marriage fell over before the other man came into the picture. I have fought long and hard to fix our marriage, and that little spark that was always there to keep plugging through just is not there as much as I wish it were, because I feel this way, and if we decide to separate, I will need this job to support my kids and myself. I have no interest in running away with the other man or having a relationship outside of work with him. I just have to keep working on myself and try to build positive experiences with my HB. The past 8 years, an emotionally checked out HB has taken its toll. My spirit is broken, and I have not felt good around my HB in years because of all the bad ways he was treating me. Is there not a chance that it is just over? Too much pain. We probably were not right for each other from the beginning, but fell in love. I think. I see now we started our union on very shaky ground. This is probably the root of all our problems. If I had have known then what I know now about what I need and want in a marriage, I would have ran the other direction. I know that sounds bad, but it is true. Of course, I have learned some very valuable lessons in our life together. And we have 2 beautiful girls, which I am grateful for. But I now know what I need to be happy with someone. And I haven't had it until now because he was shocked into changing when he found out about the I will not be running into the other man's arms, nor do I desire that. If anything, if we don't work out in the end, I will live by myself for a very long time and work on me for a change. I do agree with that you do not just throw it away because it no longer feels good. You have to try many things before giving up, and then after that, you try some more. And then a bit longer. And so on. But what if over the years the 2 of you grow in different directions? What if your time with this person has come to an end, and she is no longer the right one for you? I have grown into a woman who knows more of what I need in a marriage, and my needs have been ignored in our marriage. I have always been very committed to my personal growth. And my HB used to always belittle and make fun of me. He would say I sound like a self-help book when I talk, and it hurt deeply because this is such a huge part of me. And he never appreciated this in me until now. In many ways I feel betrayed because in the vows it states love, honor, cherish, and I did not feel any of those promises were kept. You can't honor your wife when you are constantly trying to squash her into the ground so she feels she no longer has a say in her life, or treat her as if she doesn't really matter much to you, or run the other way when she wants to talk and connect, or I could go on. He made me feel like I was a dummy with no worthy opinions or ideas. He has a PhD and I didn't graduate. So he made it clear he knew he was the educated one, constantly correcting my grammar. I really thought I would be okay working with him, and I thought we were doing a good job of keeping things professional. We have talked, yes, I know, that is a huge mistake. Mostly about how I am working on my marriage, and that what we have been doing must stop. He agreed he will back off and said he doesn't want to see me lose my marriage and wants me to be happy. But I am trying to work through this in my own way without crossing any lines, of course. I realize too, I'm in effect still tied to him in some way, but I'm trying to move on. I am finding myself thinking of him, even though I know he is not my type. Why is this? I am attracted to him, but he would not be someone I would pick out of a crowd to date even if I were single. I could see us having a lot of fun, but that is it. So, I know this whole thing has just been about us trying to hold on to what feels good, while we are trying to cope with a failed marriage. I am going to see a counselor by myself next week to work on my issues, and we will continue to see out MC together. The thought of leaving makes me feel elated and excited to be free to be on my own without the stress of living in a broken-down marriage. This has nothing to do with the OM. I just feel like I would be a better mom and happier person if I were free from all of this relationship stress. Trying to work through all of this is killing both of us a little more every day. But we are holding on, desperately hoping we can work through this mess. Is there really anything wrong with considering me for once in my life? I have pushed my needs down for so long, I did not realize what they were, or what I even wanted in my life, and let men abuse me and my spirit. I am now finally in a place where I am looking at all of this and realizing that I need to take care of me. How is this selfish? I have stuck this out for a very long time, feeling miserable with my HB, but have stayed because I did not think I had a choice. Now I know that I do, and I deserve to have a happy life, free of the things I no longer want in my life that are damaging to me and my kids. If I do leave my job, I am afraid I will not find another that pays me this well unless I go back to school or something. This will cause us to lose a great deal of income. My HB says we will find a way, but also has not asked me to leave my job. He does get very tied up when I must leave for work because he doesn't like me around him. I suppose I do feel I have a handle on this and I can move past it, but as all of you say, it seems like he is manipulating me. He did make little comments and gestures that were getting me reeled back in. He said he thinks it is ridiculous that we are not to talk to each other as friends, and that my HB is being immature. He begged me not to quit my job and promised me he would back off, and I trust that he will eventually do that. So, all of you are saying that it is typical for a WS to be feeling the way I am about leaving and starting over. I am really struggling with this, and what if I do quit my job, and my feelings do not change? I am afraid to do that. I was very depressed and unhappy in my life as a stay-at-home mom for 5 years. And even before that, worked jobs I hated for min wage. Getting this job was such an accomplishment for me. I work for the city. I had to go through several interviews to get hired and felt so good that I got the job. I work in a really nice facility and have wonderful co-workers and lots of people I enjoy seeing every day. It is such a good job. It does not feel cut and dry to me. Maybe it is and I am just not ready to see it. I have an appointment to meet with my supervisor this afternoon. My best friend, who has been supportive through this whole thing, has encouraged me to take the stand up for myself route instead of just running away without being heard. She is coming with me to the meeting for support, which will be helpful. I do not want to be the victim of someone's abuse. The bottom line is, I have asked him to leave me alone and only engage me if it is work-related banter. And I do not want to discuss my personal life. I try to avoid him as much as I can, but he keeps cornering me and getting me roped into conversations before I even know what hit me. If he would just leave me alone and truly respect me, I think I could work with him and keep that distance. I am not sure what will come of this meeting. Maybe I will be fired, but at least I will know I tried to do what is right. For all I know, he could carry his advances onto another female at work, and our boss has a right to know what is going on in his workplace. Am I on the right track now? I did say several times to my boss that I am not without fault. We did get into inappropriate conversations that I took part in, but I have asked him to stop trying to engage me unless it is about work several times, and he doesn't get it and keeps it up. Then there is me high on my chemicals who has a hard time seeing straight. Not good. When I type up the details for my boss, I will make that clear in my writings too. But from my standpoint, I have said stop many times. Took time away from work, and still it has not been respected, and he did not get the message. Believe me, I have been obsessing over all my wrong actions, behaviors, wondering if I had a right to go to my boss. If I did the right thing, because I was partly responsible for letting this go on as it did. It really is a bit embarrassing to disclose this relationship like this. I am feeling really depressed and down, and I am not sure why. I also feel bad that I had to throw him under the bus. That is how it feels. He is not even going to know what hit him when my boss calls him in the office. He has no idea I was even thinking of going that route. Although I did say last time we were working together that if he can't keep our relationship professional, I may have to quit my job. Is that not a clear message? Did I do the right thing? I was going to just quit, walk away and disappear, but then I am the victim in all of this, and he gets away with his misconduct. And I lose my job. It does not seem right. Why do I feel so bad and sad then? I do feel sad that now it is final. I will never talk to or see him again. It is final and done. But I still know it was wrong on so many levels. I feel so messed up right now. He asked for a timeline of events, what was said that was inappropriate, how I responded. I don't remember this all in great detail, and some of it I went along with. I never said outright things as he did though. You're hot. Want to go to a hotel? Asking personal questions about my HB and our marriage. I went along with some of the conversations, but I never initiated them or pursued him in any way that was inappropriate. And never said outright suggestions about a hotel. And he certainly never asked me to leave him alone because he is trying to work on his marriage, and what we have been doing is not right, and I would not have kept making advances after such a request either if he did ask me to stop. It was becoming an impossible situation because he would not leave me alone as I asked, but I kept getting drawn into conversation with him. So, I didn't make it clear enough, I guess. Part 2 final ending coming today as well, in a few hours. I am going to go out and grab a breakfast before finishing this. The ending might be surprising.